Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Fantasy Football Futures Pickem episode for Week 3, Sunday, NFL football. Last week, we had a pretty nice week. I went 2-1, losing on a half point from a push, so that was a little disappointing, but overall, we both went 4-2, I think it was.
Yes.
No, I went 2-1, and what'd you go?
I went 2-1 as well. So we go 4
2
and 2.
plus 2 is 4.
Yep, sorry.
1 plus
Sorry.
1 is 2.
Sorry.
Taught that today to my second graders. You'll learn.
Yep. So I am now 5-1 through the first 2 weeks.
And I am 2-5. So that's good. That's good. Good.
That still doesn't add up. I think you're
2-4. That's
Yeah,
what
there
I
you
meant
go.
to say. There we go. So I am 2-4 overall. Last week went 2-1. First week, rough week, went 0-3. We won't talk about it. You went
3-0.
3-0, then you went 2-1. So we're getting a little bit better. First week I feel like it's always tough, so continue to bounce back. But let's just go ahead and go through a quick rundown over the last week's, or not the last week's, this week's upcoming games. And like I said last time, but if you're new, we will go over some of the games first and just give our thoughts on them. And then we'll go over our actual picks at the end. So some of these games might be out of order, but we're going to start with just the games that we aren't betting personally. They're just ones that we would talk about. And if we were to bet on them, this is what we would take. So first game that we have on the slate is Ravens at the Lions. Ravens favorite here, minus 7.5. Over under set at 50 with Detroit plus 320 money line. What do you got here, Tim?
Well, if it's the first half Lions from Monday night, I'm going Lions plus 8, and I'm going with the over. But if it's the second half, I'm going minus 8, but I'm also still taking the over. I think the Ravens had a great week last week. I think they put up a lot of points. I think the Lions can put up 2-3 touchdowns the whole game. So I see that over hitting easily. And right now I'm not really touching the spread, so I'm just going with the over.
So I actually did take something in this game, so I'll go ahead and reiterate that. I took Lions to score over 9.5 points in the first half against the Ravens. I think they can easily do that. Like you said, the spread to me is it's too iffy here. Not sure if I would take it or not, but I don't know. Like you said, if the Lions played as well as they did the first half against the Packers, they can easily contest and be in this game against the Ravens. Mm-hmm. But if they struggled like they showed they did in the second half, I think Ravens will win easily. Over-under here to me is just, I don't know if I could fit these a lot of points. And I feel like the Ravens, if with Marquise Brown possibly being out, are going to lean heavily on the run. Mm-hmm. So I might not see them having enough time on the clock to get to that many points. But so I would probably consider taking the under here for this game and riding without the spread, just taking under 50 here. And then taking that first half Lions over 9.5 points. So that's what I would take. And you said?
I said over 50.
Over 50, so opposites here for that one. So
yes.
I don't know, I just feel like, I don't know. The Ravens, you get different teams each week. It's hard to tell what they're going to do each week. Yeah. So to me, that's this whole slate this week, I feel like, is very tough games. But like overall, I think the Ravens win that game. Lamar Jackson, they were too good. So we'll move on to the next game here. Chargers plus 6.5 versus the Chiefs. Over under set at 54.5 points, and the Chargers money line is plus 250. This game I feel like I don't know, that spread to me I feel like is a little high just because the Chargers lost to the Cowboys last week.
Yep, so the Chiefs, I think they're 1 in their last 12 of covering the spread. And so I'm actually going with the Chargers plus 6.5 here. I think this is going to be a close game. Chargers need to figure something out. Their offense has looked a little iffy lately, and I feel like they should be scoring more points. And again, the Chiefs' defense is not the best either, so I think this will be kind of a shootout. And so I can see it coming down to the Chiefs having to kick a field goal and win by 3 in this game, so I like the 6.5. Over under 54.5. And it's kind of tough because if the Chargers play like the last 2 weeks, It could actually go under.
Under, yeah.
And so it's that one's a little bit more difficult, but I really like the plus 6.5 from the Chargers.
That's what I would say. I'd love in the plus 6.5 here. And if you, even if you buy that half point to get to 7-2, just to reassure yourself, I'm loving that. I feel like the Chiefs will allow the Chargers to stay around in this game the whole time, kind of like what we saw with the Ravens last week. The Chiefs can score at will whenever they want, but they also they also don't stop anybody a whole lot. So I feel like the Chargers will be able to move the ball. I think they'll be able to score. And I think it'll be a closer game than the 6.5 that Vegas is giving the Chargers. So I am also with you. I think it's going to be closer, probably field goal type game. So I'm going to take Chargers plus 6.5 as well. The over under to me,
It's a lot of points.
But the Chiefs score a lot, and I feel like the Chiefs defense doesn't score or stop a lot of teams from scoring a lot of points. So I would even think I ride this over here too.
I think I agree with that. If I was betting the over/under, I'd go with the over.
And if this was at LA, I would almost consider taking Chargers money line. But because it's in Arrowhead, I think it's a tough environment. There's just no way they win.
Like,
so
I really can see the last drive, Chargers go up, tie the game, or go up 1 or 2, and Chiefs have to kick that field goal.
Yeah,
exactly what they're trying to do like last week, but hopefully Clyde doesn't fumble the ball this time.
Yeah, exactly. See what happens with them. But yeah, so we both like Chargers plus 6.5. I'm liking the over 54.5.
I don't really like it, but if I bet, I would go over as well.
Yeah. Who do you think wins this game outright then? Chiefs or Chargers?
Chiefs too.
That's what I think. Chiefs.
If Chiefs would have won last week, I might have thought the Chargers, but with the Chiefs losing and just needing they don't want to start 1 and 2.
No,
I know the Chargers don't either, but the Chiefs can't start 1 and 2 at home, so the Chiefs win this game.
That's what I'm thinking. At home, there's just no way they lose that game. So I like the Chiefs to win outright there as well. Let's go ahead and move to the next game we got here, which is Washington football team at Buffalo Bills, which the Bills are favored 7.5 points with the over-under set at 46. Washington money lines plus 290 this week. This game feels a little trappy to me. Just a little trappy, Tim. I'm not really sure what to think about this game. What are you thinking here?
Trappy meaning you want to take Washington, but you think the Bills might blow them out, or the other way, where you would take the Bills, but
take Washington the Bills, but I think Washington
wins this game.
Yeah,
I think it's the first one. I think when I first saw this, my first instinct was like there was 8 points, and I was like, what? I think the Washington team's pretty good, but the Bills might blow them out this week. Washington's defense did not stop the Giants' offense. That isn't that good.
That's true.
And the Bills are at home. They're needing a win. It's at 7.5 right now. I would buy the half point, but I would take Bills -7. I think they win by a touchdown, at least.
See, and this is where I don't know. I feel like you say all those things, like, oh, we saw last week Washington did this. They've had a week and a half to prepare. Mm-hmm. They played Thursday night. And the Bills didn't look great against Miami for the first half of that game, and then Tua goes out, and they really weren't putting it on until the second half. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like the Bills haven't looked like themselves here. So I'm actually going to take that Washington football team plus 7.5. I would not be surprised if the Bills win, but this game just seems like you should take the Bills because they won 35-0 last week, and the Washington football team couldn't stop the Giants. But you come back to the fact that Washington football team will somehow find a way to stay in this game.
Yep, that's true.
And lose by less. But so I would take Washington football team plus 7.5. Would you touch that over under at 46?
Yes, I would hit the over. I would go with the over on that one. I think Bills are going to score a lot of points against that Washington team. I think they will, and then the Washington will have to kind of keep up a little bit of what I think is going to happen. So I think the over 46 hits pretty easily.
That's what I'm actually going to stay away from this over-under because I don't know. I feel like it could either be like you said, it could be an offensive shootout, or for some reason it could be a weird defensive game.
Yep.
Depending on the weather up in Buffalo, I'm not really sure. I would take Buffalo to win this game outright, though. But I just feel like Washington, this is a weird game. I feel like you always say, yeah, they should easily win by 7.5 because it's Washington. They just they barely beat the Giants, and they did all this, but I don't know. So I'm going to take Washington at plus 7.5 there. And you got the Bills minus 7.5. So we'll move to the next one. Bears at the Browns. Browns are favored right now, minus 6.5. And if any of the lines change, let me know. I did this morning.
What'd you get it at?
Minus 6.5.
It's at 7.5 now.
It's at 7.5 now. The Browns.
Yep.
That's weird. Okay. Over under set at 45.5 with the Bears money line plus 260 right now.
So yeah, this is not one of my locks or anything, but I love the Bears plus 7.5. I do not think the Browns could score a lot of points.
Well, with Landry being out, they don't have any. Like Odell might play, but
I think that Browns might win this game. But I just think it's going to be a battle scoring points and taking the lead from the Bears. And then you also have Justin Fields in there that brings in another.
Do you think that's why the line's moving towards the Browns' favor? Because
Justin
Browns' defense is good, and they're playing just a rookie quarterback this week. So do you think maybe that's why it's adjusting to this? Or
I really don't know what it is. It might just because how the Browns only beat the Texans by 10 points.
They beat the Texans by 10. Tyrod Taylor got hurt in the second quarter.
I just don't.
They looked great against the Chiefs, but they still lost.
Yeah.
I just feel. I don't know. I just feel like this spread is super weird to me. Nobody's really missing off the Bears this week besides Andy Dalton, and some could argue that this is better for the Bears.
Andy Dalton make the Bears so much better than?
That's why I don't think
it does. So that's why I just like the 7.5. If it gets to 7, I would buy the half point or under 7. But I love plus 7.5 for the Bears.
Yeah, if it's at plus, I feel like Justin Fields will do.
Over under, not touching it. I have no idea.
You can't look at what Fields did last week coming in as a rookie like that. You give him a whole week to prepare, and I know Matt Nagy's still an idiot. I'll say this every day we're on a podcast. Every day in my general life that someone asks me about the Bears and Matt Nagy's still a coach, he's a freaking idiot. Can't stand him. And I know some of my buddies up in Chicago would agree. But yeah, this line just seems a little too much for me, and I actually like the Bears plus 7.5 with you. And I just, to me, it's just crazy how the spread just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I know they struggle with stopping the run, and that's what the Browns do great, but they're kind of, what's Odell? He's not going to do much. His first game back, there's no way they just feed him the ball consistently. So I'm with you here. I like the Bears plus 7.5 as well. Over under, not touching it either. Yep. I don't know what kind of offense the Bears will have that week, so I'm going to leave them out here. The next game we have is Colts at Titans, which is
my.
We'll not talk about that one. Dolphins at Raiders here. The Raiders are 4.5 the favorites this week. Over under set at 44, and the Dolphins are money lined at plus 175 right now. I don't know. This one's tough. Dolphins defense is pretty good. I don't know what it's going to look like with Jacoby Brissett. Derek Carr, how serious is his injuries?
I like the Raiders so much that makes me not want to bet the Raiders because this is what the Raiders do. They can put up 2 good games. They look like they're going in the right direction, and they just suck the next game. And so I just feel like what I've seen the first 2 weeks, the Raiders should cover 4.5 easily against the backup quarterback for the Dolphins. But I might probably overthinking it. Probably going to bet the Raiders minus 4.5. But when we come next week and I'm like, yeah, the Dolphins won or the Dolphins lost by 1 point, not going to be surprised.
That's what I was looking at. Like you were, like I like the Raiders here. They should win. So I'm actually going to go to the Dolphins because of how much I actually like the Raiders. Just because I feel like what you said, the Raiders have looked so good over the last 2 weeks. There's like something's going to give. They're the Raiders. We know that's what they do. So I'm actually going to take the Dolphins plus 4.5 this week. That over-under I'm not going to touch. So 44 points to me is just, I can definitely see it going over. But I could also see it staying low like last week with the Steelers. Yep. So I'm going to take Dolphins plus 4.5, and you have the Raiders.
I'm going Raiders minus 4.5.
Okay, so that's one we'll keep a tick on. This next game, we got Buccaneers at LA against the Rams. Bucks, right when I checked, are favored minus 1.5. Are they still 1.5 favored? The over-under was set at 55. Rams money line was plus 105. And I feel like if you're going to bet the Rams, you might as well take the money line.
That's exactly what I was going to say, and that's what I'm doing. I'm taking Rams plus 1.5, and I'm also taking the money line plus 105. They're in LA. Tampa's just looked really good, but they played against a bad Falcons team last week. The Falcons put up some points against that Bucs defense. Then now you're going against Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. I think the Rams are going to put up some points against that Bucs defense, and I don't know if Bucs be able to keep up this game. So I'm actually going with the Rams with the upset here. Plus one. It's not. I wouldn't guess it's not big upset, but I'm taking that they'll win this game outright.
Still up there. Like for me, I look at it kind of the opposite way as you. I think I'm going to roll with the Buccaneers here at minus 1.5.
Okay.
Because of how good they've looked. Tom Brady has looked excellent. And I feel like no matter what you do, there's too many weapons on that field the whole time for the Buccaneers to stop them. Jalen Ramsey is one guy, and he can only guard somebody, one person. Mm-hmm. So it's really pick your poison. Who do you want to stop this week? Jalen Ramsey, Godwin, Evans, Antonio Brown, and depending on what he does with his COVID thing. But then you got Tyler Johnson, you got Scotty Miller, Gronk. You just got too many weapons, I think, on that offense to slow them down the whole game. And Tom Brady, I feel like, has looked the best that he's looked in a while. And so I like Buccaneers going in there, winning a close game. I would take them minus 1.5. I feel like they either win by 3 or a little bit more. I just think the Rams are going to have to run the ball a little bit to be successful. But with Henderson being dinged up and that Buccaneers run defense being so good, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a tough matchup.
That's how I have Henderson. I want to start him, but I'm actually going to sit him this week because he's playing the Bucs defense.
That's what they're just too good up front. So I have Buccaneers minus 1.5. You have Rams plus 1.5, and then outright. Would you touch the over under here at 55?
If I did, I'd do the over. I wouldn't expect.
That's what I would say. The same thing. I would not expect this game to be close. To the under at all.
Yep.
So we both are opposite on that one. I think Bucks actually win this game outright too. So and then you have Rams there. Seattle minus 1.5 at Minnesota. Over under set at 55. Vikings are plus 105. I'm loving Seattle minus 1.5 here.
I like Vikings plus 1.5, taking the money line as well. I think the Vikings cannot go 0-3. They cannot start the season 0-3 to compete with the Packers or I wouldn't say the Bears are there to win that division. So it's still up for grabs. So I think Vikings need to win this game, and I think they sneak one out. And they should be 1-1. They should have beat the Cardinals last week. And it was a tough look missing that field goal. And I think they have a bounce back week. And I think they actually beat the Seahawks outright.
That's what, and I could see that happening they've been in both games that they've lost. They had the fumble that shouldn't have been a fumble.
They honestly should be 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
That's
fumble shouldn't have been a fumble, and then they missed a 37-yard field goal last week to beat the Cardinals. So they're very good. But I just feel like Seattle giving up what they did last week.
They're pissed.
They're going to come back and try to come out, put up points, win this game big. I don't know if they will win big, but I think they'll win the game by a field goal or more. So I'm taking Seattle here minus 1.5 solely because of what happened last week and how they lost that game. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they're going to be focused on stopping Cook. And if Cook's dinged up, I think it changes a lot for the Vikings too. So for me here, I do like Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, but I'm going to take Seattle this week as well, minus 1.5.
And I also like the over there. Both really bad defenses.
Yes.
Both offenses are
putting up points lately.
Very fast, yep.
Seattle, and they both went over 60 points last week, both teams. So I feel like they easily could do it again this week. So then we'll insert here the Cardinals minus 7 at Jacksonville with the over-under set at 51.5. Jags are plus 290 money line. I feel like this is a backdoor.
The backdoor cover. Exactly what I was thinking. The only thing is the problem is when you bet 7.5, you're betting on the Jaguars, and that's tough for me to do. So I like the Cardinals by the half point. I like the -7 Cardinals, but buying the half point.
The -7 Cardinals. So, yeah, I'll take it with you. I'll go -7 Cardinals as well. I feel like this is a game that Jacksonville Cardinals play down the level. Like when teams play bad teams, they just don't perform like they should. So I could see it being one of those games. But Cardinals' offense is so much better than Jacksonville's offense and defense. They should put points up and win easily by 7 or more. So I'm going to buy the half points. Well, I'll go 7. Are you going to touch the over/under here, 51.5?
No, because I think the Cardinals are going to score a lot of points. I don't know if Jacksonville is going to put up that lot of points. No. You would think they would because Cardinals' defense isn't that good, but I just don't know about the Jaguars. They're a bad team, so it's hard for me to expect them to score 20-something points.
Oh, yeah, especially when they haven't really done that in the last 2 weeks against. They played Houston. They barely scored 20-plus points. So I agree. I wouldn't touch the over here solely because the Cardinals, I think, will get up, and then they kind of going to call the dogs off a little bit. So we both have Cardinals buying the half point, getting them at -7, not touching the over-unders here. And then we'll go to our Monday night game. Neither of us touched this one. Eagles at the Cowboys, where the Cowboys are favored -3.5. Over/under set at 52.5, and the Eagles are dogs at +160 money line. This one I feel like is a little bit closer.
It's Cowboys Monday night in Dallas. Buy the half point, get -3 Cowboys. That's my play.
And that's what I just feel like. The Eagles' defense they have a solid run defense.
I just can't see the Eagles winning this game. I just can't see it.
And that's what they have a solid run defense. Pass defense is okay as well. It's not great. The only thing that worries me a little bit is how bad the Cowboys' pass defense is. Mm-hmm. And Jalen Hurts is very athletic and can do different things with his legs. And he has somewhat of weapons with Devontae Smith and Rieger, one of those names. So I don't, like you said, Monday night Cowboys. I think you got to take a -3.5, and I'm going to take that over 52.5 as well.
Yeah, I'm taking the over 52.5.
And I'm going to take Cowboys outright here. They looked good last week and Dak had a bad game. Mm-hmm. I expect Dak to bounce back. The only thing that worries me a little bit is Amari Cooper does have bruised rib, so it's just what's that offense going to look like without Amari in there. Yep. So we both have Cowboys here. You're buying the half point. I'm sticking Cowboys -3.5.
Yep. And both over.
And both over 52.5.
Yep.
And then let's go ahead and move on to. We'll go to your picks. We'll start. You go ahead and go through your favorite, your underdog, and then your lock for the week.
So my favorite is going to be the Titans -5 against the Colts. It's in Tennessee. Colts don't have a good quarterback. Wentz isn't even that good, but now they have a backup coming in there. I think it's just going to be just not a good time for the Colts. And that defense has actually given up some points. And then Titans offense actually got it going last week against Seattle. So I believe the Titans score some points here and they win by 5 points here. I would say at least by a touchdown, maybe 10 points or so against the Colts. So I'm very confident in that one. Then we'll go to my underdog of the week, and I'm going with the Packers +3, but I'm taking the money line. Where'd it go?
+145?
+145. And so I believe the 49ers have kind of snuck a couple of wins in there. The Lions came back the last 2 minutes, and they barely won. And then the Eagles' offense just really disappeared after that first drive. Yeah. And the 49ers' offense didn't look good at all that week, too. So it was a very low-scoring game, but they were able to sneak out that win. You got the Packers who got their swagger back last week on Monday. Offense looked good. Aaron Jones scored 4 touchdowns. It's a different defense because it was against the Lions.
Yeah.
But I believe that the Packers come in here, they cover the +3, and they actually win outright.
That's why I feel like they win outright, too. I feel like the 49ers, a lot of people are giving too much credit right now. Mm-hmm. They haven't played 2 great teams to start the year. A lot of people were high on the Eagles after that first week one when they had. which, I mean, the Eagles look good, but I feel like you said, Packers looked really good on Monday night, and I feel like they're only going to continue to get better with Rodgers, and I feel like Devontae Adams is going to be back. He's going to be a dog again.
Yep.
It was just unfortunate events watching Aaron Jones get 4 touchdowns last week, but what are you going to do there?
Yeah, that was tough.
I do like Packers here outright as well.
So my lock is going to be the Patriots -3 against the Saints. I think the Saints are not that good. I think the first week was a fluke. And then last week might have been not exactly who they are either. But I believe the Patriots, Bill Belichick, they're going to do what happened last week and take Kamara out of the game and make Jameis Winston throw the ball. And Jameis Winston was terrible. He's on the road now in New England against that Patriots team. So I believe the Patriots are going to win by 3 easily, and that's my lock of the week.
And this is what I feel like I can see that with Bill Belichick and what they've been doing. Mac Jones, just very conservative offense. We're gonna go get the job done, win by a field goal or more, and get out of here. So I do like the Patriots. I'm interested in what kind of Saints team shows up this week. After we saw the Week 1 blowout, and then last week they did not look good against Broncos at all. So
I think they got to change something up, and if they can stop Kamara, Winston's not going to win this game. So
that's what I'll be interested to see, because it's unfortunate for Winston. He just doesn't have any weapons.
Yeah, that's also the thing. He has no one to throw to. So
yeah, and Patriots defense is very underrated, very good. So keep an eye out for that one. So your
favorite Titans -5 against the Colts. Packers money line against the 49ers. And my lock of the week is Patriots -3 against the Saints.
Perfect. So this week I did not like the board a whole lot this week. Was up and down on a couple games. Couldn't really pick who I wanted or what I wanted. I'm actually going to go the Giants with my favorite at -3 this week.
I like that one.
Against the Falcons. I feel like they're a good enough football team, and I think we'll see a decent week out of Barkley this week. I think they're going to start working them in more. I think Daniel Jones will have another solid game. Sterling Shepard will have a good game. And if Galladay's in there, I think you'll see a good performance by everybody. Their defense is solid. They have a solid run defense, and so they'll be able to stop Mike Davis. It's just, how are they going to do pass? Yeah, Mark Davis. That's what makes up. It's going to be, I'm just curious to see how they're going to do against pass this week, how they're going to stop Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley. So I'm liking the Giants at home against Atlanta this week. -3 is my favorite. My number 2, the dog for this week, is actually going to be the Bengals.
Okay.
And I think the Bengals go into Pittsburgh and they steal a win away from Big Ben and the Steelers. And just solely the fact because Big Ben's dinged up, their offense hasn't looked great. Deontay Johnson also might be out. So you kind of got some gaps to fill on the receiver slot. And that offensive line for them has just not looked great.
Steelers have not looked good, so there's no reason why you would think the Steelers would win that game.
The Bengals, at home beat Minnesota. They were in that game. They easily could have beat Chicago.
Yep.
Just Joe Burrow can't throw 3 interceptions in a row and expect to win a football game. So I'm taking the Bengals here to win outright. Money line, I think it was plus 155.
Yep, it still is.
To win outright against the Steelers, and then also double down with plus 3. I think they win or if they do lose, it's within a field goal. So you could even buy that half point and go 3.5 to secure it. So I like Bengals plus 3. I'll buy a half point, get them at plus 3.5, and then money line straight up this week. And then my lock of the week is actually going to be the Jets plus 10.5 at the Broncos. And this is solely because the Broncos have played very well, but I think this Jets defense is very good. And the only thing that I can think is they're going to stick around this game long enough because of the Jets defense. And there's no way Zach Wilson has another 4-interception game this week. And I can see them staying in the game longer. 10.5 points to me is just a lot of points.
Yep.
And that half point there really makes me more comfortable that they lose by touchdown or field goal in this game instead of. So I'm loving them. Plus 10.5, Jets plus 10.5 this week in Denver.
Yep, I love that pick too. Broncos are not the team that blows people out.
No, they did last week, but
it's Jaguars are worse than the Jets, and I think that's the most the Broncos are going to win by. So I do believe Wilson's not throwing 4 picks again. And then if the Broncos are winning, they're not the team that puts their foot on their gas. They're going to slowly go down the field and take a lot of time off. And when you take a lot of time off, it's hard to cover spreads by 10 points. So I do like that pick at 10.5.
Yep. So that's what the half point to me I feel like really solidifies. Yep. That's what you want. NFL 10 points is so many points to win by. Mm-hmm. It's just hard to see. So my favorite this week was Giants -3. My underdog pick, I took the Bengals. I'm going to buy half point, get them at +3.5 as well, straight up money line. And then I'm going to take my lock this week with the Jets at +2.5 at Denver. And then what was yours one more time?
Mine was the Titans at home versus the Colts, -5. And then I took the Packers on the road at the 49ers money line. And then I took the Patriots -3 at home versus Saints.
Perfect. So that'll end our Pickem episode this week. Hopefully we see you guys next Sunday when after I go 3-0 and I get back to 5-4 on that winning side this week.
Yeah.
And then you go up, well, you'd be 8-1 if you go 3-0 again. So definitely something to look out for. Make sure you're checking out TikTok as well. We'll put our picks out there too and everything. If you're listening on Spotify, check us out on YouTube. We got a video version of it. In the next coming weeks, got a nice little green screen coming in, so maybe we'll put some graphics up. So we appreciate everything. Make sure you guys go like and subscribe, comment anything. Let us know your picks. Go check us out on the Action app. But we appreciate it and appreciate all the support. Thanks, guys. Peace.